So these are topic tests that have been designed to help you gauge your performance in terms of each topic that you're covering. Once you've covered the basic concepts, only then you should give these tests. For every test, we have an accompanying video which gives you a perspective of how you could have attempted the test, what would have been a good attempt, and the solution for the test. There are more than 200 such topic tests available on our Bodhee Prep Android app. The app link is in the description below. So feel free to download the app and make use of the test that we've prepared for you. This video is about profit loss discount test number 3 as numbered in the app. Overall, this is a moderate sort of a test. 6 to 7 questions would be a good attempt, and the attempt time would be somewhere around 19 to 22 minutes to go through the entire test, and from there get 6 to 7 net correct answers. Now, if we look at the questions one by one, question number 1 says, on selling a pen at 5% loss and a book at 15% gain, Kareem gains rupees 7. If he sells the pen at 5% gain, book at 10% gain, he gains 13. What is the cost price of the book? Suppose the cost price of the pen is P and the cost price of the book is B rupees. In the first case, we have 5% of P as the loss. So this will be negative, and 15% of B as the profit or gain. This will be the total profit. This is given as 7. So 0.05p, 5 upon 100 into p, plus 0.15b, 15 upon 100 into b, is equal to 7. In the second case, 5% gain on the book and 5% pen at 5% gain. So 5% of p or 0.05p plus 10% gain on the book. So 10% of b or 10 by 100, 0.1b. This is 13. This was negative. Loss plus profit is 7. Profit plus profit is 13. So if these are two equations, all we have to do is add 1 into 0.5p minus and plus cancel out. So we get 0.25b is equal to 20. Multiply the entire thing by 4. 0.4 is 1. So b is equal to 80. Multiplied by 4, b is equal to 80. What is the cost price of the book? The cost price of the book is 80 rupees. Again, straightforward question, just making two equations and solving. So it's an easy question, easy calculation. So about 90 seconds to solve the question. Gabbar sold his gun at a loss of 10%, loss of 10%. Horse at a profit of 20 incurred an overall loss of 2000. If the cost price of the gun is G and that of the horse is H, loss of 10% means 10% of G. Loss so negative, 10% is 0.1 G. Profit of 20% of the horse, 20% of H or 0.2 H is equal to overall loss of 2000. So negative 2000. Had he sold the gun at loss of 5%, 5% of G will be 0.5 G negative loss. The horse is still at the same profit. He would have made an overall profit of 2500. Now we can take these as equation 2 and 1, subtract 1 from 2, 1 from 2, or we can directly say when the loss here falls from 10 to 5%, so there is 5% lesser loss on the gun, which leads to a change in profit of 4000 rupees from negative 2000 to positive 2500. So we can simply say that 5% of G is equal to 4500, which means 5 by 100 G is equal to 4500. 5 nines are 45, so G is equal to 90,000. Putting this value in the first equation, 10% G or loss of 10% on 9,000 is 90,000 is 9,000 plus 0.2 H will be a loss of 2,000. Loss of 9,000 plus something is loss of 2,000, so that something should be equal to a profit of 7,000. Multiplied by 10, 2H is equal to 70,000. 35. So H is equal to 35,000. So the cost price of the horse is simply 35,000. From here, we could also have eliminated G directly and gotten the value of H. For that, we had to multiply the second equation by 2 and then subtract 1 from 2. Either ways, I thought this was more intuitive for me, and therefore I went this way. But in any case, it's an easy question. Two equations had to be solved. Should be able to solve this in about less than 2 minutes, and definitely something that should be done in a test also. Mohan bought an article and marked it up by 50%. He gave a discount of D%, got a profit of D%. So let us work with this D first. Cost price, selling price, mark price. The markup is 50%. The discount is D%, because of which the profit is D% as well. So we can say that profit percent is equal to markup percent minus discount percent minus M% D% upon 100. Let the value of discount be D. So D is, and which is the same as profit. D is equal to 50 minus D minus 50D upon 100. So D, this will be 1 by 2D. So D plus D by 2 is equal to 50. This will be 5D by 2. 2D, 2D, is equal to 50. 5 and 5 cancel. D is equal to 20. Therefore, the discount is equal to 20% and the profit is also equal to 20%. Had he bought the article for D% less, increased the mark price by D%, and given a discount of 2D%, what would be his profit percentage? Suppose the cost price initially was 100. The marked price was 150 and the selling price were 120. These were the initial values and D is 20. I'm assuming this 100, increase it by 50% for 150, discount of 20% or a profit of 20% will give selling prices 120. Now, had he bought the article for D% less, so the cost price is 20% less than 100, 20% less than 100 would mean cost price is 80. He increased his marked price by D%. 80 increased by 20% would be 96. 28s are 16, so this becomes marked price. And gave a discount of 2D%. Had he bought the article for D% less, increased its marked price. Sorry, increased its mark price by D%, not cost price by D%. The mark price is 150. This is increased by 20%. 150, 20% of 150 is 30. So increase of 50 means, if increase of 30 means new mark price is 180. Increase the market and given a discount of 2D%. So discount given is 40%, 2 into D. 40% of 180 will be 40 by 100 into 180, which is 4 into 18, 4 to the 18 to the 36 to the 72. So a discount of 72 rupees is given, which means selling price is 108. 108 minus 72. We have to find the profit percent. Profit percent will be on 80 rupees. The profit is 28 rupees, 108 minus 28. So profit is 28. Cost price is 80. So profit percent will be 28 upon 80 into 100. 28 upon 80 into 100. 25s are 24s are 4 7s are 28. Profit percent will be 35%. And it's a moderate level of question because there are two different calculations involved. So maybe 2.5 minutes to solve. Moderate level and uses all the concepts of markup, discount, and profit. Rohan sold a table at a profit of 15%. Had he sold it for 10% less, and had he bought it for 10% less, sold it for 21 rupees less, he would have gained 25%. At what price had he bought the table? Suppose the cost price was 100x initially. There was a profit of 15%. So the selling price would have been 15% of 100 is 15. So 115x, increasing 100 by 15. Now, had he bought it for 10% less, the new CP is 10% less than 100x, which is 90x. 10% of 100 is 10, reduce 100 by that, 90, and sold it for 21 less. So the selling price is 115x minus 21, 21 less than initially. He would have gained 25%. So we can say that 90x cost price into 1 plus profit upon 100 is equal to selling price. So this becomes 1 by 4, which means 90x into 5 by 4 is equal to 115x minus 21. Cross multiply 450x is equal to 460x minus 84. which means 84 is equal to 10x. We have to find out at what price had he bought the table. The table was bought for 100x, so multiply by 10. 100x is equal to 840 becomes the answer. The cost price or the price at which the table was bought was 840. Again, a moderate level of difficulty, but you would have come across these questions while practicing, so should have been attempted. Solving time would be about 2.5 minutes. The cost of production of an automobile, which usually sold for 30% profit, increased by 20%. What should be the percentage increase in the selling price in order to maintain the same profit? Not profit percent, but the same profit after the increase in the cost of production. Let the old cost price be 100. Usually profit is selling 30%, so selling price will be 130, which means the profit is rupees 30. Now the cost price is increased by 20%, so new CP is equal to 20% more than 100, which is 120. What should be increased selling price in order to maintain the same profit? The profit that we need is still 30, and therefore the selling price has to be 150. So the increase required is an increase of 20 on a base of 130 into 100. 2 by 13. 1 by 13 is 7.69 into 2 will be 15 by 15.38. So from option A or option A here, 2 by 13, 15, 5 by 13 would be the answer. Again, in terms of level of difficulty, if you look at this question, so easy to medium level of difficulty should be able to solve this in about 90 to 100 seconds. A treacherous fruit vendor, while purchasing apples from the wholesaler, managed to receive 25% more than the quantity for which he pays. 25% is 1/4. So basically, if he pays for 4, he gets 5. For which he pays. He cheats his customer as well, and while selling the apples to them, he delivers 16.6% less apples than the quantity for which the customer pays. 16.6 is 1 by 6. So if a customer pays for 6, he sells them only 5. He got 5 here, he's selling 5 here, so that will settle the answer. If he claims to sell the apples at the cost price, find his net profit percent. Now suppose he goes to the vendor and buys apples or buys 4 apples, for example. So if he pays for 4 apples, he'll get 25% more apples. So he'll get 1/4 of 4 more. So he'll actually get 5 apples. Pays for 4, gets 5 apples. When he actually sells 5 apples, he will charge the customer for 6 apples, because when he's charging the customer for 6 apples, charges for 6, according to the question, he delivers 16.66 less. So when he charges for 6, he will deliver 1/6 of 6, that is 1 less than 6. So he'll actually sell 5. So when he pays for 4, he gets 5. When he gives 5, he charges for 6. So basically, when he pays for 4, he charges for 6. Hence, cost price is 4, selling price is 6, which means a profit of 2 on a base of 4. Profit of 2 on a base of 4, 2 by 4 is 1 by 2, or 50% becomes the answer. Now, so this will be a faulty weights question. Level of difficulty is moderate, but the only thing is, since the values that are the value that he gets and the value that he sells are the same, the calculation gets a lot easier, and therefore solving time should be, I think, less than 2 minutes for this question, given the numbers. If the selling price of 3 pence is equal to the cost price of 5, selling price of 3 pence is 3 into s, or suppose if we take x and y, selling price per pen is equal to rupees x, cost price per pen is equal to rupees y. According to the question, selling price of 3 pence, 3x, is equal to cost price of 5 pence, 5 into y. While the marked price of 3 pence, suppose the marked price per pen is equal to rupees z. While the marked price of 3 pence, 3z, is equal to selling price of 5 pence. Selling price of 5 pence, 5x. The cost price of a pen is what percentage of the marked price. So here we would want to, if we want to find the value of that, we want x to be a multiple of 3. And here x has to be multiple of 5. So what we can do is we can take 5. We can take y as 25. If no, if we can take y as y will be a multiple of 3. We can take y as 9. If we take y as 9, 3x is equal to 5 into 9. 3 is our x becomes 15. When we put x here, 3z is equal to 5 into 15. 3, 5. Z becomes 25. So we have to find out the cost of the cost price of the pen is what percentage of mark price. So cost price of the pen is 9, mark price is 25. So the required percentage is 9 upon 25 into 100. 25 for the 36% becomes the answer. Again, if you choose the right number for the value, it's a pretty easy question. Should be able to solve this in about 90 odd seconds. Two articles were bought for the same price. One was sold at 40% profit, the other was sold at 30% loss. Find the overall profit or loss percent made. Again, the answer will simply be 40 minus 30 upon 2 or 5% profit because the value is positive. And that is the only formula that you need if the cost price of two articles is same. Otherwise, what we can do is let the cost price be 100 for each case. Two articles were bought at the same price. Here the profit is 40%, so 40. Here the loss is 30%, so minus 30. Total cost price will be 200. Total profit will be profit of 40 on one, loss of 30 on the second, so 10. Hence, overall profit percent will be 10 by 200 into 100, which will come to 10 by 2 or 5% profit. Again, when the cost price is same, there is P1 profit on P profit on the first, L% loss on the second. The overall profit or loss is simply P minus L upon 100. Option C. Again, whatever method you follow, an easy question, definitely less than 90 seconds. Ajay and Balu started a business together by investing some money at the end of the first year. Out of the profit of 2,000, Ajay received 400 more than Balu. Here the time is same, so the money will be divided in the ratio of their investment. 2,000 rupees, Ajay got 400 more than Balu. Ajay, Balu. So if Balu gets X, Ajay gets X plus 400. X plus 400 should be equal to the total investment. So 2x is equal to 1600. X is equal to 800. So initially Ajay got 1200 rupees, 800 plus 400. Balu gets 800 rupees. This is what we know. If Ajay had invested 6,000 more and Balu had invested 6,000 less, Ajay would have received 25% more than what he actually received. Now, basis we can say that the ratio of investments of Ajay and Balu will be equal to 2:1. Because, no, not 2:1. 1200 is to 800. 12 is to 8. Divided by 4. 4 3 to the 4 3 is 12. 3 is to 2. Now it says if Ajay had invested 60% more, 6,000 more. So Ajay's investment becomes 3x plus 6,000 because his investment initially is 3x, Balu's is 2x. And Balu had invested 6,000 less, 2x minus 6,000. This is the ratio of their investment, and this is how the money will now be distributed. Ajay would have received 25% more than what he actually received. So instead of 1,200, he will receive 25% more. 25% is 1/4 of 1,200, which is 300. So instead of 1,200, Ajay will receive 1,500, which means Balu will receive 2,000 minus 1,500, which is 500. Ratio of investment is how the profit will be divided. 1,500 by 500, which is 3 by 1. Cross multiplying 3x plus 6,000 will be equal to 3 2s are 6x minus 18,000. 6 3s are 18, which means 3x is equal to 24,000, which means x is equal to 8,000. So initially, 24 3s are 8. So initially, A and B, Ajay and Balu, had invested 3x, which is 24,000 and 16,000 rupees in the first case. If Ajay's investment goes up by 6,000, his investment becomes 30,000. Balu decreased by 6,000, becomes 10,000. The profit will be divided in the ratio 3:1. What would have been the profit of Balu if Ajay's investment and Balu's investment had been less by 3,000 and 7,000? Ajay and Balu, if we reduce Ajay's investment by 3,000, becomes 21,000. This is the original investment. Decrease Balu's by 7,000, it will become 9,000. 16,000 minus 7,000. What would be Balu's share? So Balu's share here will simply be 9,000 upon 21 plus 9. 30,000 into the profit, which is 2,000. 000 cancel, 0 cancel, 3 threes are 9. And therefore 600 rupees. Oh, sorry. The profit also reduced by 20%. I missed the last line. Now the new share, the investments of A and B are 21,000, 9,000, and the profit has decreased by 20%. The profit was 2,000, decreases by 20%. 20% of 2,400, so new profit is 1,600. So Balu's share will be 9,000 upon 31 plus 9, 30,000, which will be the total investment into 1,600. This will be the answer. 000 cancel, 0 cancel, 3 threes are 9. 480 rupees will be the investment that the profit that Balu will get. Again, in terms of level of difficulty, I think conceptually it is moderate. There are calculation steps involved. The calculation time might go up to 3 minutes, and therefore maybe moderate to difficult sort of a question. Harry, a milkman, buys pure milk, adds some water in it before selling. He sells the mixture at a price of 10% less than the price of pure milk and makes a profit of 10%. He sells some water. He sells the mixture at 10% less than the price of pure milk and makes a profit of 10%. Again, something that is 10% less than the total will be 0.9 times of the value. So after discount, selling price has to be a multiple of 0.9. Also, when we're making a profit of 10%, it has to be a multiple of 1.11 multiplying factor. So what I'm saying is, we need a selling price which is a multiple of 99 using multiplying factor. So what I'm saying is, assuming that there is 9 liters of milk, which the milkman has at rupees 10 per liter. Therefore, cost price for this person is 90 rupees 90. He will add some water to it. Now, on selling this milk, the profit that the shopkeeper or the milkman has is 10%. So his selling price will be 10% more than 90. 10% of 90 is 9, so rupees 99. But we know that he sells a mixture at a price 10% less than the price. So the marked price of the milk that he's selling should be such that reducing it by 10% leads us to 99. So MP into 1 minus 10 upon 100 is the selling price, or MP into this becomes 1 by 10, 9 by 10 is equal to 99. 1,110. So the mark price should be 110 rupees. On this, he'll get 10% discount, sell it for 19, but his actual cost price was 9. So he will get rupees, so he'll get a profit of 10%. Now, for what quantity will the mark price be 110 of milk? Since milk costs rupees 10 per liter, rupees 10 per liter, that means here the volume has to be equal to total price upon per liter price, that is 11 liters. But we know that there was only 9 liters of milk. So in 9 liters of milk, 2 liters of water is added. Out of this 11, 9 was milk. So 2 liters water. Milk, water. The question is the quantity of water that he adds to 2 liters of pure milk. 9 liters milk has 2 liters water. Therefore, 1 liter milk will have 2 by 9 liters water, and therefore 2 liters milk will have 2 into 2, 4 by 9 liters water. So 2 liters milk has 4 by 9 liters of water. Question based on mixing, cheating, or faulty weights, as you might call it. Overall level moderate. If you're able to identify the central value quickly, the solving time will also not be very high. But again, could be a question that can be looked in the exam depending on the other questions that are. Now, if you look at the overall level of difficulty, as I said, moderate level of difficulty for the paper, 6 to 7 questions could have been attempted, and the attempt time would be somewhere around 20 minutes. The questions that I would have attempted in this test for sure would have been 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. Which are these questions? Definitely this one, straightforward equation solving. This is a similar question, equation solved, so definitely this one. Here we have to find the value of d. There could be confusion, could have left this. Straightforward question, I have done such questions earlier. This was also, I think, just start with a 100 value and then everything falls into place. Should have run it. Could have been a problem. The thing here was what made this question easy was increasing 25% a value gave the numerator as 5. Decreasing 16.6 also gave the numerator as 5, so it became easy. But otherwise, could have looked at, if you're very comfortable with the topic, only then go into this attempt. Would have done this every single time, just putting one value. I thought this was also an easy question. 40% profit, just the formula 40 minus 30. This, again, unless you're very comfortable with the concept of partnership and ratios, this could have been avoided. Would have done this because I've done questions like this earlier as well. So yeah, maybe a doable sort of a question. So overall, my attempt would be 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 10 for this test. At least 6 out of these 7 questions.